Welcome back to another video of Excellent Sports. And this video just came to my mind after seeing what in the segment with Raquel, Rhea, and Roxanne Perez. And this is a conversation that I think we need to have about talent, especially in WWE. And it's that everybody can't be main eventers. Because if everybody is main eventers, you run into a problem that AEW has. AEW's problem is no longer storytelling. They've nailed that. Their problem is they have too many men in the main event scene. Now the women are doing fine with they have the right amount of women in the main event scene, but they don't have enough in the mid card scene that should be given more spotlight there. But AEW has the problem of having too many men in the main event scene where it's like you have too many guys just to be a world champion right now. And it's like they're doing a mid card feud. It's more than likely going to diminish them, depending on who the person is. Somebody like MJF can make it work because he don't need to be in the world title picture right now because everything MJF does is gold. Like even though Swerve isn't in the world title picture, he's still a big deal. But when you have somebody like a Jay White, who you have to write off the TV due to injury, and I don't know if his injury was real or not, but I think he was written off TV, correct me if I'm wrong, but having him be out when you've had multiple chances to make him a world champion and you haven't capitalized on that, like he isn't a guy that's going to be in the mid card scene because it's something that won't benefit. So when you see these different people that you think should be in the main event scene, especially in WWE, it's just simply everybody just can't be here. And Roxanne Perez is my first example because people are complaining about her doing stuff for Raquel Rodriguez in the Judgment Day. But WWE wants to keep the Judgment Day story going, whether you like it or not. It's had its good points, it's had its bad points. I think it's been solid. It hasn't been the greatest thing, it hasn't been the worst thing ever. It's definitely been worse than the Judgment Day. It's just been solid. And they want to add some new flavor to it. We don't know how long Liv is going to be out. But some people want the tag team titles to remain a thing. And maybe that's how you keep tag team titles by exerting Roxanne Perez with Raquel Rodriguez. And if y'all remember correctly, the way that Roxanne Perez came up this year, she was in the Royal Rumble, was down to the final two between her and Charlotte. He wanted Roxanne Perez to win. She won an Elimination Chamber qualifying match against Raquel Rodriguez on Raw and went on to the Elimination Chamber and had a good performance. She was in a feud with Bayley, which ended with them in a fatal four-way. They never got to one-on-one match. They were in a four-way at one of the NXT pay-per-views early in the year. So she's already been in the ring with some of the top names, and then once she's officially called up to Raw, she's doing stuff with Julia, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. And even though she had weeks of back-to-back one-on-one matches with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, so she was already put in a big spotlight to shine. So WWE could see what they wanted to do with her and Julia, and they both have plans for both of them. So Roxanne being in the tag team picture right now is fine because she lost in the Queen of the Ring tournament. It wouldn't have made sense for her to win against Jade Cargill. She's just not experienced enough to be in that spotlight yet. And do you want her to go to the main event scene just to take a loss? Because she isn't finna beat Rhea Ripley. She isn't finna beat Io Sky. We've already seen this. And if it was to happen a second time with her being on the roster within 6 months already, do you realistically think that she's the winner? That just wouldn't make sense. Some people have to start off in the tag team division. That's how to get their career started. This isn't diminishing Roxanne Perez. I don't think her main roster run is cooked or anything like that. She's been doing stuff on the main roster since January. Even while being in NXT, she was consistently on Raw and NXT. Even made a few appearances on SmackDown. So she's had a good main roster run so far. I wouldn't say that she's rookie of the year as far as WWE goes, but she's had a good run so far. And her being in the tag team picture to keep the tag team titles alive, to keep them alive, that's a perfect story. The only part of the story I don't like is how Dom will be a champion and he's in another love story. I just wish Dominic would do something more, but that's not to the fault of Roxanne Perez. Do you want her in a storyline or do you want her to just take a loss in the main event and be in cater? Which one do you prefer? Even Jade Cargill, who I mentioned earlier, when she came to WWE, she was in developmental, she was in the performance center for a while, training, getting used to what the WWE is like. Her coming over from AEW, and WWE and AEW have completely different systems, so she had to learn the WWE system. And she's such a big name. When I think about how dominant she was in AEW, and then they bring her over, and she's on ESPN, so you think she's going NXT, and even when she went to the main roster, her first WrestleMania match was a 6-woman tag team match, where she teamed up with Naomi and Bianca Belair to defeat Damage Control. That was her first WrestleMania match, a 6-woman tag team match. And then her second WrestleMania match was a match with her and Naomi, and they've been having the best feud of 2025 so far, as far as wrestling goes. So, like when Jay came up, she was inserted in the tag team division, paired alongside Bianca Belair. Like they could have just made her dominant straight out the gates, just beating jobbers, going on with 20-0 record. They didn't have her doing that. Like she wasn't taking pins, but she took some losses in the tag team division. Her and Bianca, they didn't have a perfect record, but they had a good tag team run. They made the tag team titles relevant. They had one of the best runs with the tag team championships we've seen in a while, and Jay was putting in work. People wanted a Jade and Nia story. They've had multiple matches already on the main roster, but it hasn't been an actual story with it. Because I don't know why they won't follow through with it and make it an actual story out of it. But the match she had with Nia not too long ago was good. The match she had with Tiffany, even though it ended in a DQ, it was still a solid match. And that's the reason why she eventually cleaned out the ring. Her match against Roxanne Perez, it was a good match. It just had a bad ending. Um, Jay botched the ending with the big boot, and with the second power bomb she attempted, they don't take away that it was still a solid match. It wasn't the greatest of all time, but it wasn't the worst match either. So even Jay, when she came to WWE, she wasn't pushed to the moon. She became a tag team champion as soon as she got there. It wasn't like she was pushed to the moon. Like even a guy like Karrion Kross, you just wish for him to have more TV time and have him be in actual matches. And he's getting his match at Night of Champions this weekend, which he should win against Sami Zayn. He probably won't, but I think the win would be more beneficial for us. Karrion Kross, if he was to get the win, because he's great. He's a great program. He is great in life, but he doesn't really get to showcase. You don't get to showcase anything else because all he does is backstage segments. Now letting him showcase what he can do at Night of Champions. This is his moment. If he had, and Karrion Kross can wrestle, he's had some good matches in the past. Like the match with AJ Styles, it was a solid match on Raw. So he has the chance to prove himself on a big stage at a PLE. So we'll see what Kross is able to do against Sami Zayn. But even I know some people aren't capable for him to be in the main event. Some people might be. But even if he's just in the king of the ring to give him that chance, like that's what some people just need. But even a guy like a Montez Ford on SmackDown, who people say he's stuck in the tag team division, he's not the best one in his tag team. Since the Free Profits have came back, Angelo Dawkins has looked better. And there's no slight to Montez Ford, but Angelo Dawkins has just looked better. He's been more serious, and if they were to split up, I would see him being the one to get a tag team run more than likely. That's just the way I see it. I see him as someone getting the main event push because I can take Angelo Dawkins more serious. Montez Ford is a great wrestler, but don't get me wrong, but he's still super goofy in the way that. And some wrestlers, you can't just naturally be yourself. Like that might just be who Montez is naturally as a person. That's not like I'm not even mad at that. But what he has to master the art of is, at the end of the day, this is also acting. With professional wrestling, you also have to know how to act. And that's what Jacob Fatu does. That's why I like Jacob Fatu. Because you ever watch, because I've watched a few Jacob Fatu interviews, seen some backstage segments that happened after the show. Like Jacob Fatu does not talk the same way on TV that he does in his interviews. Because he knows how to fake it. He knows how to flip the switch when it's most important. He can do that on TV. That's why I like Jacob Fatu, and that's why he'll likely be pushed. But that's why he'll get to. That's why he's getting stuck that Montez Ford didn't get, and he's not stuck in a tag team. Some wrestlers are just tag team guys, and some wrestlers they have to get over on their own without doing anything super goofy. Like y'all might call Jey Uso goofy now, but he didn't get over with the Yeet gimmick. Excuse me. Jey Uso got over when he initially broke away from the bloodline. When he cut the segment in 2023 when he broke away from the bloodline and broke away from Roman finally. If y'all remember that promo, that's when Jey Uso got over. That's when the fans were behind him because people wanted him to beat Roman at SummerSlam. Not everybody, but there was a lot of people caping for Jey to beat Roman at that point. And even then, I wanted it to happen. The ending still didn't make sense. And Jey probably should have won it then because then you pulled the trigger on him way too late. And you didn't get the run that you should have with Jey Uso as champion. So it's like not everybody can be in the main event scene. Not everybody is built for it. And you can't just have a bunch of people crowding the main event scene. And let me compare it to AEW again. In AEW, you have a stacked main event scene with Jon Moxley as your champion. You have Swerve, you have Will Ospreay, you have MJF, you have Jay White, you have Hangman, Christian Cage, Adam Copeland at one point. And these are just to name names. You think about all those names, just because you have depth, just because you have a lot of it in the main event scene, that doesn't make it good. Like last year when MJF and um, Will Ospreay was doing stuff last year, like that was amazing for the international championship scene because they helped boost that title because they had a good feud, they had some good matches, and they helped boost the title because obviously you need main event stars to make mid card championships feel more important and feel more relevant. So that worked out perfectly for them. But now Will Ospreay, he's kind of just stuck because he doesn't have the same charisma that MJF does, or the same versatility to where MJF can do stuff with the Hurt Syndicate and make it work. Will Ospreay isn't that type of guy. I don't see, and I think Will Ospreay is he's better in ring than MJF, of course. But I think MJF has stuff that Will Ospreay just lacks. Even with Will Ospreay wrestling for longer, it's stuff that Will Ospreay doesn't bring to the table that MJF does with his charisma, with his promo skills, even being good in ring. And Ospreay is amazing in ring, but you're probably not considering him a top 10 wrestler in the world because when you include everything else. Because his promo is solid, but it's not the best in the world. It's not one of the top. So it's like when you have Will Ospreay who's not really doing nothing, it's like, so what's their plan next? When you have a Jay White who, his last championship match was in 2023, and they just got him doing stuff in the tag team division, and only remember him being a tag team champion. So it's like, what are you really doing with Jay White? You had him come back and not even acknowledge the faction he was with. You have Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, like dude, two bigger guys who Samoa Joe has been a champion, but you have another chance to put it on him. You have a chance to put it on Hobbs after he just lost the title match the previous week. So we got two title matches, two different titles in 1 week, really in the span of like 4 days, and lost both of them. So I hope y'all see what I'm saying. Like AEW, they had a problem of having too many main eventers. So you have to be realistic about it and realize that not everybody can be a main eventer. Because if you have too many people in the main event spotlight, some people will get outshined. Like Ospreay is getting outshined by Hangman, who's the current #1 contender, and Swerve, who wasn't even in line for a title shot next. But Swerve still feels more important than Will Ospreay. In WWE, you have your clear main eventers, which you have, obviously, you got your Cena's, and I'm going to use Cena and Jey Uso, the last two in the Royal Rumble this year. People may feel how they want to about Jey Uso, but he sells some of the most merch. He's over with the fans. He's a good wrestler. Like, I don't get this narrative that he's some terrible wrestler. Have he had the best matches? No, he doesn't have some of the best matches of all time. That don't make him a bad wrestler. Jey Uso has good matches under his catalog. The match versus Gunther on Raw 2 weeks ago was really good. And the match against Cody on this past Raw was really great. And I did have a problem with him at King of the Ring, not because I dislike Jey Uso, but because it was other people that would have made more sense to be in that spot, with it being a mystery opponent or a surprise opponent, whatever they called it. So that just felt stupid to me. Like and then John Cena, like a 17-time champion now, so you know he's gonna be in the main event spotlight. Because obviously it's John Cena. Like even if he came back and won the IC title, he would still be main eventing. So that don't really matter. But even in my last example I'm gonna use is Charlotte Flair. Everybody is like, oh, actually I can use Charlotte and Becky in this example because people like to say that Charlotte and Becky, all they do is hog the spotlight, this and that. But they came back and didn't even win the world title. Okay, you can say Becky came back, she became a tag champion, now she's the IC women's champion. Becky and Lara winning the tag title should have never happened to begin with. That was just stupid in my opinion. But she is elevated, but this feud has helped elevate Lara Valkyria. Like they've had some good segments. Not every segment has been great, but they've had some good segments for sure. And it's helped elevate this IC title, which is what it needs. Like Lara did a good job as champion. She had a good 5-6 month reign with it. But Becky has came back and helped elevate the women's IC title scene, making the mid-card title. And shout out to Lara and Bayley as well, because all three of them have made the IC title feel like the most important women's title in WWE right now. And then credit to Charlotte. She did a good job in that match versus Tiffany Stratton. She did a great job, actually. And she really carried that match. And it was embarrassing showing for Tiffany Stratton, but good on Charlotte's part because she showed that she has that veteran experience. And she should have won at WrestleMania, but she didn't. And then she lost in the Queen of the Ring tournament. Obviously, Alexa Bliss ended up advancing. And now she's doing a feud with the Secret Herbs and might become a tag team with Alexa Bliss. So even Charlotte, who's a 14-time world champion, or 16 if you count NXT, but that 14 on the main roster. She came back, and yes, she won the Royal Rumble, but she's had a solid showing since coming back. And the thing is, she isn't even in the main event scene right now. You have Naomi, Jade Cargill, Asuka, people like that in the tournament, Nia Jax, who you have in your main event scene. And obviously, it's not many contenders for Io Sky right now. But like I said, everybody can't be in the main event scene because it's just unrealistic. Like, some people get caught up and they have to start off in the tag team division. That's how they have to get their career started. Jey Uso was a tag team wrestler for 14 years before he became a single star. Or 13, because they came in 2010. So he was a single star for 13 years. I mean, he was a tag team wrestler for 13 years. Then finally broke away from his tag team to become being the world title picture. Even when the feud started with him and Roman originally, he was still in the tag team. Technically, Jimmy was just hurt. So they just turned it into a storyline and still found ways to use Jimmy in the feud. But that's just what it is sometimes. And Bray Wyatt started in a faction with the Wyatt family. The Shield, all three of those guys started as a faction and all became WWE champions. Jon Moxley is the current AEW champion and it's won it 3 times, I believe, been the IWGP World Champion. Like, everybody's career starts differently, and y'all have to give it time. I'm not saying let TKO cook, because I'm not going to use that statement, because they've been burning the kitchen all year. But at the end of the day, everybody starts in different places. Some people should have a better push and should be doing more. But at the end of the day, everybody can't be in the main event scene, so y'all really have to stop rushing it and really be patient and give it some time, because some of the people that y'all complain about just got caught up. Like, I understand complaining about a Chad Gable who has been there for a while, but it's like y'all already complaining about Roxanne Perez, like, she just got caught up. She's been on the main roster just this year, since January, and her call wasn't even official then. So some things y'all really do have to give time, because it takes some people a little longer to get over. Cody Rhodes had to leave and come back and became a bigger star on the indie scene. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment y'all thoughts and how y'all feel about the statements I made and the examples I used.